introduction, I would like to hand it over to Frank to provide a demo flow for today. So over to you, Frank.
Okay, thank you, Vamsi. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon once again. So, Bata and Vamsi have already shown us some of the considerations and what we are thinking around the data platform development. Now, we'll probably dive in a bit deeper to seeing some of these user endpoints. So today, this is how we hope to some of the demos we hope to carry out today. We hope to show you how different data sets from different sources and different formats can be uploaded into CKAN, and how our data pipelines automatically processes this data and organizes them, and then they are stored in a central database where other applications have access to them to view them and then be able to make sense of the data for better decision making. Next slide, Vamsi. So to start with this, I will show you CKAN, but how we've configured CKAN. But before that, the challenges that had made us think of the system designed in this way, where some of this stuff being highlighted here. So one was that different data sets have been and continuously being organized by different organizations, and these data sets exist in various formats, and they also come from different sources. So if there's no way to intentionally organize the data and put them in a common format where applications can easily make sense of them, it becomes messy when applications are accessing the data. And also data sharing is also an issue. So we then thought of how to securely also share the data, and how to also provide access for perhaps local authorities, for example, to be able to contribute data and also have data ownership for the data they contribute, and then also updating new data sets when there are updates on existing data. Next slide. So this is how the CKAN internal architecture that we are going to see. Or at the base, we see the system admin. So that's like the overall system admin on the portal. So what the system admin does is that once he logs in, he's able to create organizations. So these organizations can be NSA, for example. It can be the different local authorities. In fact, I can assume the system admin to be like, say, the NSA admin. So assuming that NSA is the one managing the entire system. So the system admin, as the NSA admin, have access to all data sets from different local authorities, for example. But the local authorities also have their own access to their own data and can manage what is within their data. So once the system admin has logged in, he can create these organizations, and having created the organizations, he can then add data set to the organizations. These data sets, like you could see different colors, they are showing you that the data sets of different formats from different sources can always be added within each organization, and then members are also added within that organization. So it means those registered members within each organization would have access to the data within their organization if the data is set to public. So just to mention that in also adding the data set, there is a provision for you to specify if the data should be public or it should be private. So if the data set is set to public, it means anybody that visits the portal should be able to access the data. But if the data is set to private, then only registered members within that organization and the super admin, which is at the base, would have access to the data. And for the demo, I would be logging in with the super admin, and we could see just a few of the use cases. So once the data sets have been added into the organizations and registered members are created within the organizations, the data is automatically then stored within a CKAN database. So this is where our pipeline then takes effect. So we've configured this so that just at the click of a button, the pipeline is triggered and it automatically processes these data sets of different formats and from different sources, brings them to a common format, applies some of the the standardization and validation checks that we've put and tries to correct them and then puts them in a format that they make sense to in a GIS environment and to also be used for subsequent analysis. So next, after this discussions, I will show us a demo of what we've done so far. But in the next one, I will show us the data governance. Perhaps the next slide. So this is how we've tried to implement and then continuously extend the data governance and access control on the system. So what we have at the left-hand corner is the system administrator. Like I showed, he has the full access to the portal, and so he's able to also create other users. And then outside this, we also have the role-based access controls. So the organization admins have full access to their organizations, but cannot access what exists in other organizations except that's given access to them. The editor access also within each organization. The editor access has the ability to add edit data within that organization, but can't do it in other organizations except where he or she is a registered member. And the view access can only view the data within that organization, but can't edit or add data. And then the public user is just able to view data sets that have been set public. So like I mentioned, this is CKAN internal data governance and access control. We are now also adopting this into the data portal entire architecture, just to provide more granular access control and good data governance across the system. Next slide, Vamsi. So on this next slide, we will see one of the user endpoints. So it's called the data story map. That's what we call the data storyteller. So this endpoint is mainly to allow users interact with multimedia information in a geospatial environment. So what it does is that you can visualize your pictures, your videos, your audio files in the location where they belong to in a map. So that's what this helps us to do. So it's usually helpful in your qualitative data visualization. It's part of what we are going to see, and we've made it completely open source as well, like Vamsi mentioned. So next, I will share my screen and